What's going on, guys? So we are out here in Elkhart, Indiana, actually at the RV Hall of Fame. The folks over at REDARC have come out with a really awesome lineup of products that I had to show you all, including that right there and that right there, which are really game-changing because of what they give you, what they're capable of doing. You're definitely going to want to watch this video if you're looking at upgrading the technology or getting new technology for your RV. Hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so I apologize to my viewers. I wasn't able to find an Australian to give this presentation the last time I did, and that's always great. But REDARC is a company out of Australia. They build phenomenally high quality products. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but they build extremely high quality products. And in many ways, the overland community in Australia solely trusts REDARC because of the stuff that you put out. A lot of stuff here in the States, a lot of stuff that you can put in your RV. I eyeballed this, which we'll talk about in a second, but I'm gonna let Mike quickly go over the stuff we're looking at on this table and the evolution of the REDARC brand.
So REDARC's celebrating our 45th year anniversary in RV electronics in the outdoor space. So we're super proud of some new product that we came out with our BC-DC, so our basically battery charger DC to DC to a lot of people. These are our most recent products that have Bluetooth capabilities. They do have CAN integration capabilities. They are an MPPT from 25 all the way up to 100 amps in 25 amp increments. They are DC to DCs, and they also have a charge back feature on there, as well as a maintenance trickle charge back to the vehicle battery.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that you just said. I totally get all of it. But about 75% of my audience is probably going to be like, I'm tuning out because I don't know what any of that means.
Sure.
Let's try to take some examples of where you can use the various technologies. So first of all, DC to DC, because that's what you see on a lot of this stuff. DC to DC is what a lot of folks are going to know REDARC for. That's what that's what this product was originally for. I installed one of these. DC to DC means that you're charging from your vehicle's alternator and power system to the RV, or to whatever you're towing, or to whatever you're trying to charge, right? So you have a house battery in your RV. It's going to possibly parasitically die while you drive down the road, or maybe you have a refrigerator, a 12-volt refrigerator that pulls off of that because you want to keep all your food cool in the refrigerator. And you're not going to really have a solar package in most cases that's going to keep that battery maintained well enough while you're towing it down the road.
Correct.
So DC to DC generally means I'm charging my RV battery from my vehicle battery, but I'm doing it intelligently. Because we all know there's other ways to do that, but you run the risk that you're going to damage your charging system in your vehicle, or you're not going to efficiently charge the battery you have in your coach, especially if it's two separate chemistries. Like your RV has a lithium iron phosphate battery, but your vehicle may have an AGM battery.
Yes.
Right, so did I say all that correctly?
You absolutely did. I think probably some key takeaways for that is that the new BC-DC Alphas have some smart capabilities in there to allow this to be able to select the lead acid or the lithium ion profiles in there that you need, as well as select the charging rate that you would like it to use from your vehicle. So when you're driving down the road, you can adjust the charge rate to comply with, let's say it's a smart charging system in there and you need to be under 80 amps like a Mercedes Sprinter. If you put a 100 amp device in there, you can turn it down to 75 amps so that it uses less power off of the system all the years.
Okay.
All of these devices are capable of doing that. They also are what we refer to as green. So they're going to use what is capable from the solar to start with, and then they will supplement from your alternator charging system to make up the rest of that charge rate.
Okay,
so let's say you've got 20 amps of solar and you've got this set at 50. The most that you'll ever use is 30 amps off of it if you've got 20 amps of solar coming in.
Okay, so a good way of kind of explaining the architecture of this and how you would integrate into your vehicle, you would have power wires coming from your vehicle's battery.
Yes.
That would feed into this. That would be the DC to DC side of it. That's essentially I'm charging the DC battery, which is what powers our vehicles.
Correct.
And I'm feeding this from the vehicle's charging system and battery system. So those are one set of cables that would come in. Another set of cables that would come in would come from your solar panels, because this acts as a solar charge controller, specifically an MPPT solar charge controller. So you have wires that will come in from your solar and also connect into this. And then this would connect to your battery system.
Yes.
Now, you also said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you can feed your 110 power into this as well now also?
That's actually our Alpha Manager system.
Okay.
The Alpha Manager systems from 50, 75, and 100 have an AC charger built in, but they also have the same technology as our BC-DCs. So it has the MPPT built in as well as the DC-DC. Again, with the same rating that they're built for, 50, 75, or 100 amps.
Okay. Do these also have auto detect for whenever you go to shore power, you go in, you connect your shore power connection, does it automatically switch to 110 from 12 volts?
So it's not a transfer, but it does automatically charge. So you can charge 3 sources at once up to the limit of the device. So if it's 50 amps, it'll charge up to 50 amps from one of those 3 devices, either AC, DC, or solar.
I love the compact size of it too. That is really nice.
And they're all the same footprint, so they're interchangeable. So you can upgrade if you have, let's say you install a 50 amp and you wanted to put larger batteries in and you wanted to go to 100, you can take the 50 out and put the 100 right in the same spot.
Okay. Do you all currently have any inverters that are kind of built in? Okay.
Yes, we have inverters that have non-internal transferring, and after the first of the year, we will have internal transferring as well as CAN communication inverters.
That's awesome.
As well.
So what he means by that essentially is when it has internal transferring, it can replace essentially the electrical system you currently have in your RV. It'll automatically transfer to the power source that's coming into your RV, so it manages the charging of the batteries plus the power going to your outlets and everything else. So what I really want to highlight are these 2 products right here. This to me is blowing me away because this is a battery. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. And when I saw it, you know, my gut feeling was because it's really compact. So if I had like a Group 27 battery next to it, it would be about that much wider. Might be about the same length, maybe a little shorter. It's going to be taller. But this is a really slim profile battery, which is really, really nice. But the key here is it's not a 100 amp hour battery.
It's a 150 amp hour.
It's a 150 amp hour battery that takes up about the same footprint, slightly less than a traditional 100 amp hour battery, which means 2 of these batteries would be the equivalent of 3 100 amp hour batteries individually. And that is really great because we all know about space savings and that concern. Now from a weight perspective, what does this weigh? Probably about
32 pounds.
32 pounds?
Yes.
So when you look at your typical 300 amp hour battery, you're talking about a 75 pound-ish battery.
Yes.
So you get roughly the same amount of capacity in a smaller footprint with a really, really advanced battery system here. So what all will this battery do as well?
So this battery will actually discharge at 200 ampere hours constantly. So that means it's capable of supplying up to a 2,000 watt inverter by itself.
That's awesome.
So this will run a 2,000 watt inverter in your vehicle by itself.
Okay.
It does internal heat, and it does have Bluetooth smart technology, which provides basically the same imagery that you see for power monitoring up here.
So you don't need to run a shunt?
No.
Which is really nice. And a shunt, for most people, is basically a system that pulls off the negative terminal, lets you see what the capacity and the status of the battery is.
Correct.
This has it all built in internally, and you can manage it via Bluetooth. That's awesome. What are we looking at right here?
So this is a new product we've released over in Australia, and we are waiting on just some final approval here in the United States. This is our GoBlock 100 ampere hour battery system. Has a manual disconnect on the backside, just like you would see a rotating disconnect. It has an Anderson connection on the back, capable of supplying 50 amps input for that. That can come from DC to DC, or it can come from solar as well. So it has an MPPT built in as well as a DC to DC. And then it has an Anderson connection on the output, so we can connect 50 amps of loads directly off of that. We have standard USB power, standard cigarette lighters, and then we have some trickle charger inputs for cigarette lighter or 110 volt accessories. The unique part about this is that you can latch this into the dock, just simply rotating this handle. And now it's latched in and everything can be hardwired on the side of the dock. So if you want to install the battery in a fixed position in some form of a vehicle, you can do so without having to connect anything to the battery. And if you want to release it and take it out of the dock and take it with you, you simply just pick it up and take it.
Okay. So I think you even mentioned you can use this as a charger for another battery if you wanted to?
So it actually has the same features as our Alpha Managers and our Alpha VCDCs. It has a chargeback feature in it. So if it's connected to your tow vehicle to be able to be charged through that alternator system as a DC to DC, you can activate a boost mode that will allow a 50 amp charge back for 15 minutes to your start battery to allow you to charge that battery up so you can start your vehicle.
And that's intelligent, I imagine, too, right?
Yes.
Because if you can't accept 50 amps coming in,
Correct.
it'll regulate to whatever you need to.
Yes.
Okay, so a scenario that I'm trying to do, and I think that this will work, if I simply want to provide 12 volt output from these, like a normal battery, into something like a portable power station that I may have with a 30 amp plug, as long as all I'm looking for is 12 volts out
Yes.
to charge my portable power station, I can also use this to charge another power station, which is really cool.
Yes.
So
it is
very,
a
very
100
cool.
ampere hour battery. So yes, there's quite a bit of power there to do that.
Yep, perfect. Now it's not going to, of course, replenish my power station at the rate of plugging into the wall or having a dedicated, 50 amp source that it can accept, because when you use it like a cigarette lighter plug or normal 12 volt, you're only going to go up to maybe 10 amps worth of input charging.
Correct.
Is what my theory would be. Very cool. I appreciate it. This is awesome. Big fan of REDARC products. My channel sponsor, eTrailer.com, carries REDARC. Hopefully, they're going to have this stuff. Can't wait to review it. We're going to have to get some of this stuff installed. I'd love to test some of this stuff out.
Yep,
Yep,
we'd love to help.
And the good thing about REDARC, it's safe. It's built incredibly well. And quite frankly, they back it up really well as well.
Yep.
Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you so much for your time, Mike.
Thank you.